My name is Zayd Enam and I work with Jahan. So Zayd is a very interesting background. Zayd came to one of our first SHA startup inside SHA, and then he went on to win the SHA ICT award for the secondary student category. At that point in time, he was a 11th student. So he then went on and started a degree sort of in between EE and computer science. Then enrolled into UC Berkeley, which is a very well-established school. And then I think about 7 months ago, he wrote to me saying that I got into MIT, Stanford, and UC Berkeley's PhD programs. So which one should I do? And in my limited knowledge and awareness, I said, there is no competition. If you're into Stanford, then just go to Stanford. And interestingly enough, I think he got similar advice from a couple of other people. So he decided to start a program at Stanford and it's there. And then, when he came to City for his break, we had a long chat about how things are here, how things are there, what it takes to get into a CS program of that caliber. Why should you consider a PhD program? Should you consider a PhD program if you're an entrepreneur thinking about starting a business? That's something that will help you along. And then, is there really that much of a difference between studying in a CS program in a university outside Pakistan and doing a program there in Pakistan? So that's a good friend, and she's also a mentor to Zayd. So she took Zayd to Australia, where he won Pakistan's first and only secondary student gold that he ever won in that category.
So he competed against secondary school students from 17 economies in the Asia Pacific, and he just beat them flat. So
that's a very competitive category. So I judged both secondary and tertiary student at the Asia Pacific ICT Awards, and I'd say that it is exceedingly competitive to the extent that they have one winner, one gold, and sometimes you have as many as 17 merits or 17 silvers or other, right? So Zayd sort of stood tall above all of them. So what do you want to start off with first?
So you give a really flattering background, but I guess talk to a few people here. A lot of people are interested in knowing or learning what a PhD is really useful for, and what a PhD can be used, why it'd be useful for them in their particular interest or whatever field they're in right now within computer science. And so we can talk about that. Otherwise, what I was interested in, and what I thought the main point of this whole session might be, is to get people, to get my message across about why I think a PhD might be useful for people who want to be entrepreneurs, for people who want to bring a product to market and become an expert in some field, and then bring a product within that field to market and sort of make a whole bunch of money in the process. That was the general idea for this session. So I think why are universities such great places to do startups, or what makes a university a really great place to do a startup? I had this. I think Google is like the best example, one of the best examples of this, where you have two guys who meet up. They were starting their computer science PhD programs, and they meet up and they start talking about these ideas about how to make information, or you have a whole bunch of information that you're trying to figure out what's important, what's not important, and you're trying to be able to search it easily. And they come up with these algorithms that at the time they call background, which is basically trying to figure out which became the modern day PageRank, which we're trying to figure out what's an important page and what's not an important page. And they come up with these ideas and they decide to spin it they feel it's a really compelling product for the startup industry. And they have a paper that they published in 1998, they spin it into a startup, and they get $100,000 from some professor, and they don't even have an entity to cash that check in, and they just they first make the entity and then they cash the check in, and then eventually the whole thing snowballs into this massive empire now that Google has. And now Google's tackling some of the world's biggest problems these days. And
here's the question. So how many PhD programs are there in the US?
I guess on the order of 500, probably. Maybe less actually, maybe 100.
And how many students there?
Each program has 20-25 students, about 2,500.
So 5,000. 5,000 students over a period of, let's say, 10 years. So yeah. 50,000 students. And you only have 7, 8, maybe 10 instances of successful startups that have come out of PhD program.
Sure. But so the thing is that if you look at actually successful startups as well, right? What is the percentage of an actually successful startup in the first place? Right?
That's true. That's true.
You have maybe 10% of startups that get VC funding actually become successful like that.
But the thesis here is that the PhD program has a special ingredient. That special ingredient allows you to be successful as well.
Yeah.
And only challenge that we have is that.
So if okay, so the thing is that so I think the numbers are misleading because in a way startups by themselves are inherently high risk. And so if you look at 5,000 people, of those 5,000 people, how many people were interested in starting a company? Because a lot of people that go into PhD programs aren't interested in going to market and bringing these ideas to market. How many people are actually interested in going to market? And then secondly, if you look at I don't have the statistics for what the success rate is for people who decide in a PhD program that they want to take a thesis to market or they want to take an idea to market. How many of them succeed? But I think it shouldn't be a matter of numbers. It should rather be a matter of reason. So does it make sense? The arguments that I'm going to put down for why a PhD program might make sense to do a startup, whether those reasons make sense in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, so two things. So universities are great places to start for two reasons, I think. One is that you're a network of smart people. You meet smart people, you're interacting with smart people, and everyone there is relatively young. They're able to take big risks. Right now, if you're in a university, you have the opportunity, like you could work part-time and you have a part-time business and you can work part-time while you're still in university. And you can take a risk. You can say that, I'm going to take this risk because I have the time and my time is cheap right now. And so you have people who are young and ambitious and they're smart and you can network with them and four of you guys can come together and start a company and all four of you are ambitious and young. And then, so that's the thing. And then secondly, what some universities give you is that they make it easy for you to go out to the world and convince people that you're smart. And these are universities that have a brand name associated with them. And I think a brand name, a lot of times is absolute BS that there's not a huge difference in the quality of education that you get, but one thing it does do is it makes it easy to convince people that you're valuable or you can somehow do something. I think that if you go to a brand name, people are more likely to believe that this person somehow can do something more, even when it might not necessarily be the case. I think it's debatable whether going to a good university really makes you any better of a person. But what it does unlock is smart people and it's easier to talk to VCs and get them to convince them that what you're doing is actually worthwhile to invest in. So universities in general give you those two benefits, and I don't think those two benefits they're really hard to come by after you leave university because you start getting into environments where people are more interested in their work and basically they have a nice stable job. People are starting families, they have commitments in that regard, and so people can't throw away stuff and really jump into a startup idea and work out a startup idea for a long time. And then specifically for a PhD, so that's a general university, but specifically for a PhD, the advantage of a PhD is that it makes you the world's expert on the field. So say you decide to go off and you want to do a PhD in some aspect of web development. So let's say you want to do a PhD in some kind of networks or some distributed systems or something to really make web content scale. So you decided I'm going to go do a PhD in databases and I'm going to go do a PhD in really large scale content delivery systems. Then you become, after 3 or 4 years, you become the world's expert on that subject. Not only have you taken the advanced courses that a master's program will give you, but on top of that, you've basically tackled a whole range of projects. You've done projects related in your field on all kinds of different things, and you've picked up skills along the way. You've done a project in this, and a project in this, and a project in that. And you've developed these skills and these hacking abilities to build these projects. And each project by itself hopefully results in a paper or something, and you learn some valuable skills along the way, you put it together, and at the end of it, you deliver the thesis. All the projects you worked on your PhD, and you deliver that thesis. And I think that really prepares you to do a startup. Because one, you're in an environment with smart people, and these smart people are all really passionate about the same topic. They're passionate about databases, they're passionate about, from my case, machine learning or optimization, and they're all passionate about this stuff. And you're talking to these smart people, and they're all working on these projects. Everybody's working on their own project within that field. And you get ideas from them, and you exchange ideas, and you go to seminars and conferences, and you're talking about these ideas. And you really push things forward. And so what that gives you is that it makes your projects, I think, more than if you were just working on them alone, or you're working on them then within you're like, okay, I'm going to work on this project over the summer. I think what talking to people really brings your project to the next level, because now you have other people's ideas coming in, other people who are working in the exact same problem, who have like experience and who face those challenges, and all will be able to give you input on that. And then you leave that program and you are like, you have an expert on whatever topic. And if beforehand, if you come in with the idea that you want to take your PhD thesis and make it into something that's marketable, if you come in beforehand, you can guide your projects, you can guide your skills that you acquire along the way and the projects that you work on, so that you have something that's deliverable at the end of your PhD, something that you can take to market. So one example for this is these three guys. One of them was a PhD student and two of them were professors. They came up with this idea, I think back in 2004, I think 2004, 2006, somewhere around that time, about software-defined networking. And so software-defined networking is this new paradigm to make network management really easy, because now you can control a lot of things about your network. And so they basically turned PhD thesis, so something that they worked on some research, into an acquisition by VMware for like $1.26 billion. And the idea was there that they worked on some really cool ideas. The guy did his PhD back then. He worked on some really cool projects. I looked at some of his papers. He worked on a couple ideas. He got a really good idea, and he went with it, and he felt that that's something that's really marketable and be able to take that to market. He took that product to market, and you work on it for a couple of years, and hopefully you exit into an acquisition. And so I don't think that's necessarily having that domain expertise is something that a PhD really gives. It really gives you, it makes you an expert in that domain. And then now that you're an expert in that domain, you have a much higher percentage of success. Because if you look at it, the barrier to entry for a consumer startup is very simple. It's like anybody can start a consumer product startup. But if you want to make the next Snapchat, or you want to make the next Instagram, or you want to make the next I don't know, Vine or whatever these consumer startups are, there's not a whole lot barrier to entry with respect to actual technical expertise, right? There's web development, all these you're trying to make applications, you're trying to get things to scale, but these are skills that pretty much a lot of people who graduate with a bachelor's will have. So really there's nothing that will too much set you apart from everybody else who's done a degree with a bachelor's. And so really bringing these products to market was a much higher barrier to success, because there's a lot of people doing it. But what a PhD allows you to do is now you're the expert of some domain, and so now you can say, I'm the expert of this domain, and there's only 10 people or so that they're expert in this domain that really know this thing really well. Now we can build a product in this domain that will be really difficult for anybody to compete with me on. And so then you have a startup which I think will have a higher rate of success.